Welcome to this tutorial on Python functions. In this video, we're going to cover the basics of defining and calling functions. We will understand the purpose of functions with the use of the def keyword, how to pass parameters, and how to return values from functions. So, what exactly is a function in Python? At its core, a function is a reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. Functions help you to organize your code, making it more readable and easier to manage. By using functions, you promote code reuse, which means you don't have to write the same code over and over again. Functions can accept inputs, also known as parameters or arguments, which allow you to pass data into the function for processing. And functions can also return values or results, giving you the output of their computations. Now let's take a look at the basic structure, or syntax, of a Python function. A function definition begins with the def keyword, followed by the name you want to give your function. Function names should follow Python's naming conventions, typically using snake case. Inside the parentheses, you can specify parameters, which are optional. A function can have no parameters at all. The function body starts with an indentation, usually 4 spaces, which indicates that the code belongs to the function. Within the body, you write the code block that performs the desired task. Finally, the return statement is optional. It allows the function to send back a value to the caller. The function ends when the indentation returns to the previous level, marking the end of the code block. Let's start with a simple example, a greeting function. We define the function using the def keyword, followed by the function name greet, and a pair of parentheses. In this case, the function doesn't take any parameters. Inside the function, we use the print function to display the text hello, world. To call the function, we simply write its name followed by parentheses, like this, greet. When we run this code, it will execute the print statement inside the function, displaying the greeting message. Now let's create a function that takes parameters, making it more versatile. Here's an example of a personalized greeting. We define a function called greet_user, which takes one parameter called name. Inside the function, we use an f-string to create a personalized greeting message that includes the provided name. To call this function, we provide an argument for the name parameter. For example, greet_user with the argument Alice will print hello Alice. And greet_user with the argument Bob will print hello Bob. Parameters are essentially variables used within the function, while arguments are the actual values we pass to the function when it's called. These parameters provide the function with the data it needs to work with, allowing you to call the same function with different arguments and get different results. Functions can also accept multiple parameters, allowing you to pass in more data for processing. Here's an example of an add_numbers function. This function takes 2 parameters, a and b. Inside the function, we calculate the sum of a and b and store it in the result variable. Then we use an f-string to print the equation and the result. To call this function, we provide multiple arguments separated by commas. For example, add_numbers with the arguments 5 and 3 will print 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. And add_numbers with the arguments 10 and 20 will print 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. Keep in mind that the order of parameters matters when calling the function, and you must provide all the required arguments. Parameters can also be of different data types, depending on your function's needs. Python also allows you to define default parameters, which provide a preset value for a parameter if none is provided when the function is called. Let's look at an example of a greeting function with defaults. Here we define a function called greet_person with 2 parameters, name and greeting. The greeting parameter has a default value of hello. Inside the function, we print a formatted greeting message. Now, when we call the function, we can either use the default greeting by calling greet_person with just the name argument like this, greet_person with Alice, which will print hello Alice. Or we can provide a custom greeting by including the greeting argument like this, greet_person with Bob and hi, which will print hi Bob. Default parameters provide flexibility, and allow you to call functions with fewer arguments when appropriate. It is crucial to note that default parameters must come after non-default parameters in the function definition. Functions can also send data back to the caller using return values. Here's an example of a multiply function. We define the function with two parameters, a and b. Inside the function, we calculate the product of a and b and store it in the result variable. Then we use the return keyword to send the result back to the caller. To capture the return value, we assign the function call to a variable like this: product equals multiply with the arguments 4 and 5. Then we can print the product to see the result. When a function has a return statement, it stops executing at that point and sends the value back. If a function doesn't have a return statement, it implicitly returns none. Documenting your functions is crucial for making your code understandable and maintainable. One way to do this in Python is by using docstrings. A docstring is a multiline string literal that appears as the first statement in a function definition. It is used to explain what the function does, its parameters, and its return values. Here's an example of a calculate_area function. Inside the function, we include a docstring that describes the function's purpose, parameters, and return value. To access this documentation, you can use the help function, passing in the function name as an argument. Docstrings improve code readability, make it easier for others to understand your code, and can be used by automated documentation tools. Let's go over some best practices for writing functions in Python. First, when it comes to naming and structure, it's crucial to use descriptive names for your functions. For example, calculate_area is much better than CA. Follow the snake_case naming convention, keeping functions small and focused, limiting each function to one primary task. When it comes to documentation and clarity, always include docstrings to explain what the function does, document the parameters and return values, add comments for complex logic, and consider using type hints. For error handling, validate input parameters, use try-except blocks, return meaningful error messages, and handle edge cases explicitly. When it comes to design principles, prefer return values over print statements, avoid global variables when possible, use default parameters appropriately, and strive to write testable functions. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.